You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hello and welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself, Steve Mather, and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live here today on Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, full moon, paceradio.net, CBG TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Boxcast, Roku, and Fire Stick. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm doing very well. Very, very well, thank you. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing pretty awesome. I'm getting myself all ready for that full moon. Rocking the energies, the weirdness. Yeah.
The weirdness. Oh, I can't wait till that passes.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of solar flaring going on. There's been a whole lot of Schumann resonancing going on. Now we're dancing into a full moon. It's yeah. The energy is
like
flowing. Things are rolling.
Yeah. The perfect storm for people's emotions. Woo!
Well, you know, in the my buddy was reading to me about some of the horoscope stuff, and he was saying that this turn here that's happening right now is one of those turns where it's going to be lots of emotions flowing, basically for the last 3 weeks into the next few weeks. So, yeah, should be interesting.
That's quite interesting.
I'm learning that letting the emotions flow is a part of healing.
Yeah, that's one that I guess I need to learn. Have to do. I need to finish that sentence. Whoo! See? Oh, everything's whacked out. I'll get the full sentences out eventually. I promise.
Well, you know, why do you get emotions flowing?
I am. I'm enjoying. I'm not enjoying a cigarette. I want people to know. I am enjoying a self ritual stick, and it is full of linden, hibiscus, rose petals, raspberry leaf. Pretty cool.
We're watching.
Silence. What?
We're watching. You said I'm enjoying it, but we're in all the TV shows when somebody's enjoying it, we see the.
Oh, just a second. You want me to Vanna White this? Just one moment. How's that?
There, that looks more like a 70s ad for, Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So does it say did it say on the pack that it was going to help you with those emotions on that pack? Did it say that? Was it an emotional pack?
No.
No.
It's self-love. Love thyself.
Ooh. That's good emotions. Because I know last time when we had this young lady on, I got my emotions flowing.
I got tissues right here. I'm ready. Yeah, last week we had a pretty hefty show, lots of emotion. I've been really excited for this series of interviews that we are doing. It's a turn that I didn't see Mushie Moment taking, but I love this set of shows that we've had. They are raw, they are true, and they were showing the life through the eyes of the people and in their own words. And when I say the people, I'm going to let Steve introduce who one of the people is. So that's why I didn't go into any of that part.
Well, hopefully we have some people that were watching last week's, and this week this show is dear to my heart, just as was the last one. We're interviewing one of my daughters, Jessibelle Mather, and letting her talk about her story of addiction, trauma, love, psychedelics, drugs, life. So please welcome.
Hi.
There. Hello, Jessi. How you doing?
Doing great. Well, maybe could be doing better. Could be doing worse.
Yeah.
But I am happy to be here, and I'm happy to share my story, and I'm happy to, you guys gave me a chance to, do a second episode here so that I could finish it up. I really appreciated that, for sure.
Well, last time we got through a fair bit. We kind of ended on a bit of a tearjerker note because we ended off at, basically the dog attack aspect of things. And,
yeah.
I don't know where you want to come in from, but, there's lots of tale to tell.
Yeah, well, I guess if you were watching last week, the little recap was just that me, my sister, and her boyfriend's dog, and my son went for a walk to the park, and we got attacked. If you're interested in learning more about that incident, you just YouTube Richmond twin dog attack, and it's the first video that pops up. I won't talk too much more about it because I did last week. So if you're interested in learning more about that, there you go. It's right there on YouTube. After the dog attack, we were getting blamed for being under the influence of illicit drugs, and that's the reason that the dog decided to do what it did. And we were called animal abusers all over the internet. We still have websites up of us calling us racists, calling us all sorts of horrible, horrible things. And I guess what really, in the end, that's kind of the main incident that started it all, because even though we had been using before that, it was not the same. Let's just say that. So after the dog attack, we didn't want to share our side of the story with the news because we were in pain, and we were dealing with a lot of, not being able to use the washroom on our own, and not being able to, be mobile at all, basically, both of us, both me and my sister at the time. And so what we did was we reached out to my dad. We got honest about our addiction, because what happened was because my 3-year-old son was involved in this dog attack, as a mother, I apparently put him in a dangerous situation that involved MCFD having to be called, and an investigation was started, and that was in 2014. And it's been quite the journey with them ever since. So we moved to Mission with my father, and he tried to help us the best way he could. But unfortunately, at this time, not much was known of fentanyl, and not much was known of methadone or OAT programs. Not a lot of money was being put into these kind of harm reduction programs for opioid addicts, because the pandemic had just really started. And yeah, he said, I'm gonna detox you, you can come, because we couldn't stay where we were. There was news reporters sleeping outside of our house in tents, like, it was unreal.
Yeah.
We after moved in with my dad, it was very difficult to go on social media. I don't think I went on social media for close to a few months after that. And besides my dad, who would, well, that's his story, but he got kind of obsessed with defending us over social media there for a while. And whenever there was a comment that was negative towards us, he was right there defending us. And I, as you know, now that we know more about social media nowadays, that can be actually very toxic and bad for your mental health to continuously read negative comments and try to defend yourself to strangers who don't know you,
Yeah.
So anyways, after that, my dad had to work, and we were in Mission, and it wasn't really Mission, it was Silverdale, so it was right outside Mission. It took quite some time to get to actual Mission. And we tried our best to stay sober. When I say sober, we abstinence was not something that even crossed our minds at the time, because we didn't know that the problem of addiction was that we have a mental and physical, basically, allergy to drugs and alcohol, that no matter what substance, sometimes when you put in your body, you crave it, and then the phenomenon of craving begins, and you're off to the races. And so there's, my dad took us to a few doctors and said we were told we could not detox off of the fake fentanyl oxys until we were healed, because when you detox off of fentanyl, all of the nerve endings in your body flare up, and that's what causes that crawly feeling and the pain. And we had open wounds that were so extremely bad that we had open nerves, and 3 different doctors told us, no, they can't detox this way, but I cannot prescribe you any opioids, because this is when they realized that people were getting addicted to these things, and they were using them and needing refills more and more often. And then now, you weren't able to get them anymore. So even though we were detoxing but we weren't allowed to detox because the doctor said we couldn't detox, and we were physically really messed up from this dog attack. We couldn't detox, so my dad looked at the last doctor in the face and said, I'll never forget it. He said, "So what are you telling me? Are you telling me that my daughters have to continue to use these drugs from the streets because you don't want to prescribe them something that could help them get better?" And the doctor said, "I'm not saying that to you, but yeah, I can't prescribe them and they can't detox. So you take that how you need to." So one time my dad took us to Richmond. He brought us to our dealer. We grabbed what we needed and he said, "I'm going to microdose you off of this." And it just wasn't possible, you know, like we didn't have enough information about addiction at the time.
Or about
That
fentanyl.
it to us, if we got off this drug, everything would be better. Our life would be better. So it didn't matter. All that mattered was, let's just get off of this and then we can go back to normal, right? And unfortunately, that was not the case, you know. So we're still smoking weed. We're still, you know, doing full spectrum cannabis oil that my dad is, you know, trying to help heal us with. We tried, remember that tea, like that opioid tea. We tried all sorts of things, even alcohol. We even tried alcohol, and we just couldn't stop using. But as soon as my dad would go to work, we would leave and we'd hitchhike or we'd walk up the train tracks and we'd make it to Mission City, me and my sister, and we'd find a way to use. And eventually, you know, my dad said, "If you guys can't stop, then you can't live here." And so every week he would have to drive us to Maple Ridge so that we could catch a train to Burnaby so that we could meet our doctor, who still actually is in contact with us at some times today, which is huge because that is not something that is very common. He had 2 twin daughters himself. So our story was really huge to him, and he was our very first methadone doctor. The way we got on methadone was my dad went and he called the people who, the government society of the Surgeon Society of people who give the doctors their licenses to prescribe opiate agonist treatment programs. They said, "We know who you are. We know who your daughters are. We're following your story and we could lose our job, but we're going to get you into a clinic." That's how difficult it was to get on an OAT medication at that time. And we had to go all the way to Burnaby from Mission just to get our methadone, right? And, you know, my dad would drop us off, we'd get on the bus, and in my mind it was, we're going to get our methadone. We're going to get our methadone, and we're going back to my dad's, and we're going to stay clean today. And it never happened that way, you know? And if I was hooked up to a lie detector test, I would pass. I promise you, I would have passed.
The intention was correct at that moment. Yeah.
Because I truly believed that I would not use that day. And then all of a sudden, "Oh, well, we got here a little early. Let's go to Metrotown, and I don't know, maybe we'll find somebody and we can grab a little something." And so the one time that we did do that, this was the ending of all endings when it came to going back to Mission to live with my dad. Me and my sister, unfortunately, when it comes to pills that are man-made by people in their bathtubs or their, wherever labs, the pill presser, they're not made evenly. So sometimes you'll buy one and it's a dud and you don't get high and there was no fentanyl in it. Sometimes you'll buy one and it'll have all the fentanyl in it and you'll overdose. And unfortunately, the one that we bought that day that we shared, we both locked ourselves into a bathroom at the Metrotown Mall and did a line, and I don't remember anything after that. And the next thing I know, I'm on a stretcher, and my dad is on the phone, and the ambulance is holding it to my ear, and they're saying, all I can hear is my dad saying, Jessi, where's Katie? Jessi, where's Katie? And I said, I don't know, because I didn't know where she was. I thought we were in the bathroom at Metrotown, So, I ended up getting Narcan 6 times that day. I was sent to the hospital, and they finally found my sister. My dad, unfortunately, at the time was at work and had no idea what was going on, where we were, or if she was even alive. To this day, I still am. That is the one day that I wish I could go back and change. There are many days that I wish I could go back and change, but that one sticks out. Because we could have gone and gotten our methadone and gone home, but we didn't. And because we made that one bad choice that one time, they tried to pronounce me dead in the hospital.
Yeah.
They called my dad and said she's probably not gonna make it. So, and it didn't stop me because I came to and I realized I was in the hospital and I said, what the hell is going on? And I left without the doctors saying it was okay for me to leave. And I went and found my sister and we went back to Metrotown. Where security guards are following us all over the place. And we're like, why are we being followed? And we literally didn't remember what happened. We had no idea what happened. Until I called my dad and said, Dad, we're at Metrotown and we're getting followed. And I don't know why. We didn't do anything. And he said, that's because you almost just died. And that was a shock. That was a shock.
And for me, the last I heard, Jessi was alive and they just found Katie and I didn't know whether she was alive or dead and the phone went dead. So the next thing I get is a call from them going, security's following me. What? Because in my mind, I'm thinking somebody's in the hospital and I'm praying it's 2 of you.
Yeah.
Where are you? Metrotown. What? Yeah, that was a weird, yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird day.
Yeah.
Horrifying, traumatic day. So anyways, after that day, we decided that we wanted to try detox. I'd never been to detox before, but my kid's dad woke me up one morning when my son was 2 and we were living together and said, I'm addicted to crack cocaine and I need to go to detox. I need help. And I said, what? Because I had no idea. I didn't know anybody who smoked crack. I didn't know anybody who did any hard drugs. I myself would do cocaine on the weekends, and I would smoke weed, and I would drink on the weekends. That's about it. So when he told me this, I was very surprised, and so that day he called and he got in and he went to detox, and I packed up our apartment and moved in with my dad, and we tried to make the relationship work, but it just wouldn't work because at the time I blamed him for a lot of my heartache, a lot of my pain, a lot of my trauma, and a lot of I don't know, just I blamed him. I liked to blame. That was my thing. I would blame. And if you tried to tell me, no, you have a problem too, you know. No, I don't. Look at my sister. Look at her.
Oh,
Look at my kid's dad. I'm not doing bad. I got my shit together. I still got my kid, you know. I still got my job at McDonald's. I'm doing good, right? So anyways, that's backtracking a little bit, but that's just a little bit of what my mindset was, right? Like I didn't grow up and think I'm going to become an addict. And an addict means you are addicted to a substance, because that is not what an addict means. An addict means that you have a void inside of you that you don't know what to fill it with. And you need something outside of yourself because you're not okay with yourself. And for some people that's food. For some people that's, collectibles. Being obsessed with collecting too many things, For some people that's working out. For some people that's, sex, relationships, all sorts of things. For me, it happened to be illicit drugs. And so when I say we, it's because a lot of my story included my twin sister. And so that's why I say we. But I, myself, decided that I wanted to go to detox. I didn't want, at this point I had been homeless once, and it was for one day, and I begged my sister to sleep on her boyfriend's couch because I did not want to be homeless, because I didn't know what that was like. So this is not like I was like, I'll go to detox, because in my mind the substance is still the problem. So if I get off this substance, then I'm okay, and then I can be the person that I think that I am, right? So I go to detox, and I go to detox, and I go to detox over and over and over, and then leave, and then start smoking weed and drinking with my friends again, and wonder why all of a sudden I'm back on this stupid fentanyl. And I just decided, you know what, this doesn't work. This isn't working anymore. It doesn't work. I can't get clean. I am just meant to use drugs and die on the street. So we tried we tried one other thing. We tried a couple recovery houses. And the couple recovery houses, unfortunately, that we went to, they were the recovery houses that sometimes will put crack on your pillow. And you get home and you see that there, and you get caught smoking it, and they kick you out just so they get your money from welfare, and then they get a new client in, so they get their money from welfare. So I would get my Suboxone, and then I would sell it to the clients in the house, and then I would go out, and then I would use, and then I would come home. And that was my recovery house. And
we should take a moment and break in and go to commercial and pay our bills.
Oh, it's break time. Time to check out our sponsors, pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Boxcast, CBG TV, and paceradio.net. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga, Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Boxcast, and on Roku and Fire Stick. We're back with Cindy, and Jessi. Okay, Jess, point at me. Point to me, Jessi. Ah!
She got it wrong. Hi.
Here, let's pass you the toke. So, Anyways, moving forward, I guess where I really was at was where was I?
Well, we've gone through some of the recovery houses.
Oh, yes. Okay, so where I was going next. So the recovery houses, we did the Surrey Circuit. That's what it's called. Surrey Circuit is when you go through all of the shitty recovery houses that have no
Who calls it
intentions.
that?
Pardon?
Who calls it that?
I don't
calls
know.
it the Surrey Circuit? Where did you hear that that's what it's called? Did you
I
hear
don't
that
know.
in recovery, or did you hear that on the strip area?
On the strip.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's when you happen to get to all of the recovery houses that have no intentions of actually getting you sober. They just want your money. So unfortunately, because me and my sister were so codependent, we refused to be apart because we were so traumatized from being alone, the two of us, for so long, that we didn't want to be apart. So it was very difficult to get us into a good recovery house or a good treatment center. And honestly, at the time, I didn't think treatment centers were even an option. I thought treatment centers were for people who are rich or famous. That's what I thought. I didn't know welfare would pay for my bed at a treatment center. I didn't know that. No one told me.
No, nobody wrote the book on the steps of trying to work your way out of addiction.
I gave it to you.
Anyways, yeah, so after that, we just kind of left the recovery houses, and we found this well, you know, before we went to the Surrey Strip, we went over to the Surrey Library, and I called my mom, and I said, Mom, can we please come over? We both really need to shower. I really need to get some laundry done. Can we come and do those things and, you know, maybe sleep over for the night? And we'll be gone in the morning. And it was the very first time my mother ever said no to me since I had been using drugs. She said, no, I'm sorry, girls, but I can't do this anymore. I can't enable your addiction any longer. And I was so mad. I was so mad. I had a resentment against her for so long. Like, maybe if she had just, that, you know, I could have stopped her. But it's, you know how many times I told myself, I tell myself, tomorrow I'm not going to use. Like, it doesn't, I don't hold that resentment against her anymore. Anyways, if that's what anyone's wondering, because, you know, she had to do what she thought was best. And sometimes you can literally love your loved ones to death. And if she had not said no that day, maybe what pursued afterwards may not have happened. So I believe that everything happens for a reason. And so we're outside Surrey or Surrey Library, and we don't know what we're gonna do or where we're gonna go. And we have all this stuff, and we just met this guy, this random guy. I don't even remember his name. And he said, are you guys okay? And we said, no. And he said, oh, do you guys do drugs? And we said, yeah. And he said, okay, well, if you need to, you can come with me to my tent and you can put your stuff there. And we said, okay. So we followed him, and that's the first time I ever showed up at the Surrey Strip. That's the first time I ever even knew it existed. And we stayed in his tent with him that night. And the next morning, I got up and I was looking around, trying to think of my life. I was crying. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Because I snorted pills, okay, right? So now I'm on the street, and I'd smoked some, eventually the pill thing stopped, and I had to start smoking it because they weren't making the pills anymore, even in Richmond before we moved to Mission. And so I would smoke what they had off tinfoil. That's how they do it. And I don't know if I want to go too graphic, but this is just the reality of my life, right? And I didn't do that morning. I decided, some guy called me over and said, do you want to smoke a joint? And I said, yeah. So I was like, that'll make me feel better. Like that'll make me feel normal for once. Like that's what I used to do when I was happy. And we smoked the joint, and then all of a sudden these cops came up and arrested me. And I said, why are you arresting me? They said, did you know that marijuana is illegal? And I said, yeah, do you not see all the people on the street shooting up drugs right now? So why are you arresting me? I was like, because I'm pretty sure all of those drugs are illegal as well. And yeah, and this was 2017. So for people who don't know what it was like back then compared to what it's like today, it was very different. There were no bathrooms. There weren't even garbage cans. They took the garbage cans away because they thought if the streets got too dirty, we wouldn't want to live there anymore as homeless people. That's how the city looked at us. And so anyways, we lived in a tent out there, me and my sister. And at this point, the last time that I had seen my son was probably when I was in a recovery house lying to my dad that I was sober. That was probably the last time that I had seen my son. And yeah. And after that, it was a long time that I didn't get to see him. And I've heard this often, and it's gonna sound really, really, really messed up to a normal person or a person who just microdoses or watches this podcast for different reasons other than addiction. But I didn't think about my son. I wasn't thinking about my son. I didn't think about him often because it hurt too much. So I just didn't think about him. It's like he didn't exist in my mind for a long time when I was down there. Because I don't know why. He was better off without me. And I can't get out of the situation I'm in. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out of here. I can't stop. It hurts too much to stop. I don't know how to stop. No one's ever showed me that it's possible to stop. No one's ever showed me that they've been an addict, because I've never knew anyone like that growing up. So my reality was, this is how I'm gonna die, and that this is my life. And I would, for the first week out there, I cried every day till my sister looked me in the face. She slapped me really hard and said, "You need to stop crying and you need to man up, because if you continue to cry down here, you're gonna get taken advantage of. You're gonna get hurt and you could possibly be killed. So stop crying and stop showing emotion." And so I did, and I couldn't cry in front of my sister for probably close to 3 years, maybe, after that. Yeah, it was just, I wasn't used to that, you know. I grew up, my family was very loving, and my mother especially was very touchy, lovey, kissy, cuddly, you know. I was always told, "I love you," always. My parents always said, "We love you," after every phone call. "I love you." You know, like, I even say that to my friends now, because that could be the last thing I say to some of my friends, right? So it's always, "I love you." That's how I end my phone calls. And anyways, yeah, so after that, my sister started experiencing some crazy mental health stuff that I had never seen before. She started hearing voices, and when she would hear those voices, it was someone calling her name, and it was really scary for her, so she would huddle up in the fetal position on the street, and she would cry, and she would say, "Jessi, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Please tell me you hear that. Someone is saying my name." Like, I can't stop hearing it, and I don't want to hear it anymore. And she was on the floor like, "I don't want to hear them say my name anymore." And that's when I realized that if she was going to continue to do methamphetamines, that she would probably end up completely schizophrenic. So I decided that day to tell everybody I knew on that street that they are not allowed to sell my sister that drug. That didn't work out so great, because people want to make money, but some people listened. And things were different back then. There were rules on the street that there are no rules nowadays. It's first come, you know, it's everyone for themselves. When we back then, if there was kids that were going down that road with their parents, one person who saw the kid first would yell, "Kids!" And you could hear all the way down the street, "Kids, kids, kids!" And everyone would put their drugs away. Like, when I lived down there back then, you know, if there were young kids wanting to come and buy drugs, and no one would sell to a minor. So if we found out you were a minor, it got spread around, and that minor was not allowed to buy drugs in that area. Like, there was like some actual valued, you know, rules back then. It's not like that today. It's very sad today.
Yeah.
And
it was sad back then too.
it was sad back then too. But I just mean, maybe it was the people who were down there at the time. I don't know. But anyways, so what started happening was my sister started picking. She had already been picking prior to that, but it was getting worse and worse. And basically her whole face was like just really awful all the time. And we needed money, and we didn't know how to make money down there, and I didn't have a face like that, so I started supporting us in ways that I don't like talking about. And it was, I did it a few times, and then I almost got kidnapped. So I decided that that wasn't for me. And so my sister befriended a lady down there that didn't like me, because nobody liked me down there. No women, anyways. They didn't mind her. She had scars and cuts all over her face. She wasn't a threat to anybody's loved ones. So me and Kate started separating a little bit at this point, because she's friends with this girl who doesn't like me, and I don't know what to do. I'm all alone, and I don't want to be alone. I'm scared. I'm really scared. Every day I'm living in fear. The only time I would feel safe is if my dad picked me up. The second my dad picked us up, I'd fall asleep in his van, because it was the only time I felt safe to sleep. So anyways, I met this guy, and God, anyways, he basically was the only reason that I probably am alive, I think, today, because he was a big deal back then down there. And he just stupid things happen down there. Like, someone said I stole their dog, and I didn't steal their dog. Okay, but people do that. They steal people's dogs and they try to sell it, and it's sad. And it happened to one of my friends, and she thought it was me. It was not me, but she thought it was. So she got some girls to come to my tent and try and I don't know what they were gonna do, but they had machetes, and they had bats, and they had golf clubs, and it was really, really, really scary. And he stepped out of our tent and said, "You guys gotta go," and they left. So I thought, this is my ticket to safety here. So that's when I started to learn that a toxic trait that I could pretend to be the damsel in distress, and I could get whatever I wanted down there. And so that started happening, and I started learning all of these behaviors that were just extremely toxic, extremely hard to unlearn. And they were behaviors that I created to keep myself safe in a situation that some people cannot imagine. So that's why a lot of people say, if you're an addict, it's you're a thief, you're a liar, you're a con artist. Yeah, you are. You are all those things. Because those are the things that are keeping you safe down on the street. So, when you try to get sober, those don't serve you anymore. You know, those behaviors don't serve you anymore because I don't need to lie to my Starbucks fucking cashier. You know, I don't need to like con my way into trying to get into school or you know, normal things like that. It's not how life works. So basically, my sister did an interview on CBC News with Eric Rankin called Katie's Story, or it was called, what was it called?
New Face of Fentanyl. Katie.
Oh, The Face of Fentanyl, Katie's Story. It now has close to 9 million views on YouTube. And it was her on the street, just, you know, with all of our belongings where we lived. But if you want a picture of where exactly we were living, go watch that video, because that's where we lived, on top of all those garbage bags in that tent. And that's just for maybe some viewers who can't visualize. And so yeah, anyways, after that, I decided, you know, I wanted to get better. I didn't want to be homeless anymore. I didn't want to be who I was anymore, and I didn't know how to change. And I called my parents and I said, I want help. And they said, well, I called my dad and he said, we're working on it. Because if you didn't see that video your sister got posted on the news. And I said, what video? Because I had no phone. I hadn't been on the internet. I hadn't seen the news. I didn't know what was going on. And I wasn't in the news video. So I said, what video? And I watched it and I went, oh my God. Honestly, when I watched that, I was traumatized. And I said, why the hell would she ever do that? What an idiot. That's literally what I was thinking in my mind at the time.
Well,
that is so embarrassing. What?
After what happened with the dog attack and the way the news blew up?
Yeah. I was like, you moron. And then all of a sudden we started getting all these messages from people who were like messaging us about how they're also in addiction, and they, you know, that story really touched them, and then everyone started to know who we were. Everybody. Like, it was crazy. And a man, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name or not, but he wanted to anonymously donate the private funding to send both me and my sister to treatment to get better after he saw that story.
We can say his first name. His name is Mark.
He is now on the board of directors of that treatment center, and he is also one of the biggest reasons they now allow youth women at that treatment center. So that is one of the biggest reasons I believe that Katie was meant to make that story, because before we had a cousin that passed away, and she was not even 16 yet, right?
No, she was 16.
Oh.
She was 16, yeah. It
was right before her 17th birthday.
It was too soon.
and she passed away from fentanyl. And her dad tried to get her into many youth places. But if you do the research, there are not a lot of all women youth treatment centers. In fact, I don't know of any besides the place that I went, which was Westminster House Society.
Yeah.
And otherwise,
Time for
it's
the next break, actually.
okay.
Oh, it's time for another break. It's time to check out our sponsors. And I was really into this one. I pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Boxcast, CBG TV, and paceradio.net. We'll be right back.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and in the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyendinaga.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Boxcast, and on Roku and Fire Stick.
Wow.
All of the things.
I actually didn't know it was on so many different
platforms.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess now I'm starting to get to the part where here is the good thing. Here's the good news. There is a way out. And you can get sober, and you can get clean, and you can stop using. Who knew? I didn't. No one told me. So I'm telling you.
I kept telling you, there's got to be a way out.
There is a way out, and you don't have to have a private donor donate. You don't have to raise the funds on a GoFundMe. You don't need to do these things because welfare will pay for your bed. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of bad news. They don't make it that easy. So, for some reason, they seem to think that people whose only goal in life is to get up, get money, get high, and then do it again, have the time to continue to pay for a phone bill, which, wow, I'm surprised I still do that. Like they expect you to call every single day and you have to check in. And now if you want to go to detox, you can't just go to detox and be like, I want to get off everything. No, they will not detox you off Suboxone. They will not detox you off methadone. Those are things you'll have to do outside of a detox center with your doctor privately. I do not know why. I think it's the stupidest thing ever because methadone sometimes can be worse than fentanyl. So, I've been in treatment centers where they up the dose of methadone to highs that are way more than what the person needed or could have possibly have been using on the street, that would not affect their treatment stay. And in my opinion, if you're nodding out because you're on methadone, you are not, like in a treatment center, you're not learning how to stay sober, right? So, because you're still using a substance. I'm not saying abstinence is the only way to get sober. For me, I actually just attended a new thing here in Surrey, BC, where at the Sums shelter in Surrey on King George and 108, right on the corner there at Five Corners, they have started a harm reduction cannabis program. So it's for opioid users mostly, but also for any other hard drug users. You line up. It starts at 1 o'clock on Thursdays, and you get one pre-rolled doobie. They don't tell you what type of weed it is. I think it's because they probably don't know. And to me, it's probably and most likely always going to be some type of sativa dominant hybrid because they do it in the afternoon. And then they give you a choice of an edible, and then they feed the homeless lunch. And yeah, I went there and I experienced that this week, and it was amazing. And I heard this lady that knows me through my dad, after her long speech, looked at me and said, "I know you. You're Steve's daughter," in front of everyone.
That's funny. Usually it's, "Hey, you're Jessi and Katie's dad."
And she was really happy to see me. We lost Cindy.
It looks like she's got the spinning wheel of ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll have to log back in.
Well, I'll just continue because I know we only have an hour and a half, and I'm almost at the part where things get better. They can get worse again, but they can get better again too.
Let's give a happy part.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, me and my sister went to treatment together. We took this opportunity. I went through a lot of really traumatic experiences before I decided to go into this treatment center. I almost got arrested. I had police dogs looking for me. I hid in prickle bushes for 6 hours in the rain in leather burgundy leggings and a leather burgundy jacket with pink hair up to here. So...
But wait, the best part was you were running from the police.
Yes.
Hiding from the police.
Hiding from the police. And it was raining.
Your purse was in the car.
But my purse was in the car. Yeah, that sucked. So either way, they knew who I was. But I didn't get caught that night. And that is thanks to what I believe in as the Lord, God, and I think it's because it rained and the dogs, they couldn't sniff us out, and because of that, I was able to get out of the bushes, walk to the sea bus, sneak on illegally and not pay because I didn't have any money, and I was soaking wet, and go to Vancouver. And that's when I realized I went to McDonald's to use the dryer in the bathroom to dry off my clothes. And I went like this and realized I still had a whole bunch of dope in my bra. And I was so happy. And then I got a call that my dad was saying, yeah, where are you? Your sister's at the treatment center. And I said, she went? I didn't think she was going to go because I made the decision for us to go for both of us to go alone. And she decided to go and I didn't think she would. So I called my dad, or I was on the phone with my dad already at the time. And I said, okay, come pick me up. And I didn't have a cell phone. Right, because I didn't have anything. It was all in this U-Haul truck that we crashed after hiding in the bushes, right? And so I'm calling off the women's shelter phone in Vancouver. And I told my dad to come meet me. And I did what I had found. And I got to the treatment center. And my sister was there and I detoxed and it was horrible. And I sweated out and they made me go to Zumba class and yoga class and I wasn't allowed to have my cell phone and I felt like a child and I was mad and resentful and hateful and also realized I was a huge people pleaser and I would apologize for things that my sister did because she was a reflection of me because that's how selfish I was. And the very first thing I did when I got sober was say, I deserve to be a part of my son's life now. Sorry. To all of the people out there who happen to be watching this and are thinking about going into a treatment center where they won't be able to see their children for a while, it's going to take some time, and no, you do not deserve to see your children right away just because you decided to get sober. Unfortunately, our children don't keep us sober It will never keep us sober. The only thing that will ever keep you sober is staying grateful, staying humble, and remembering that one mistake can take you back there. So if you don't want that, you have to continue to do the things that they teach you. And that's if you're doing, for me, it was a 12-step program treatment center that I tried. And it, honestly, that first time was life-changing because I learned so many things I didn't know. I didn't know about myself at all. I didn't know who Jessi was. Dude, I had been Katie's sister my whole life. And I'm the older one, right? I had been Jordan's girlfriend my whole teenage years. And then I had been Jaden's mother in my early 20s. So I didn't know who I was, right? And I started to learn, like, wow, I really believe I'm a victim. Like, that was the biggest thing I learned, was I believed I was a victim of circumstance. I believed that maybe if I was the middle child and got more attention, then maybe I wouldn't be an addict. Maybe if I didn't meet Jordan, I wouldn't have been an addict. Maybe if I didn't have Jaden, I wouldn't have been an addict. Maybe if Katie didn't meet Cody, I wouldn't have been an addict. But you know what? All of those things don't matter. All that matters is that you don't have to be one forever. I know, because I had 2 years sober and I got my son back full time and I got engaged and he went to court and he got his son back full time. In fact, he got full custody. He won in court against the Ministry of Children and Social Development. And it took a lot of work and it took a lot of time, and we had 2 vehicles and we had a place and we both had jobs and we both looked great, and it's possible. And you know what happened was, we went on vacation and I thought I could have a drink of alcohol. I thought I deserved it, you know? Look at how great I'm doing. I've been doing so great. And I don't even ever think about drugs anymore. Like, it's not even a thought. Like, why? You know, everyone else is drinking. I'm gonna do a sip of alcohol. Why not? Right? So I did. And then right afterwards, I found out his cousin smoked pot. And I was like, we need to go smoke some of his weed. I'm not even kidding. It happened immediately, like that. It was instant. It was instant. I already wanted something else. How crazy is that?
Patterns.
And I've been struggling ever since. Let's just say that. I've had 6 months sober. I've had 3 months sober. I've had 2 years sober. I've had 8 months sober. But unfortunately, I am currently in a 2.5 month relapse. So I am under the influence right now. You probably can't really tell because I tried to make sure it was a while ago. But
we appreciate you being this honest, Pump.
Yeah.
Truly, we do.
I think you're very brave for being this honest. Thank you.
Yeah, and it sucks because, you know, I made a lot of promises to my son, and things don't, you know, they don't, your kids won't always, your kids are not always going to forgive you, and I thought he would always forgive me. Because he always did. He
Yep,
always
he'll always
forgave me
love you.
every time. He
He'll
always,
love you.
he always forgave mommy. He was always so happy. I remember when I made the decision. But after I had 2 years sober, I relapsed for almost 2 years. And when my dad picked me up for detox, Jaden was there, my son, and he said, "Mommy, is this real? Can you pinch me? Because I've had this dream so many times that you were going to get help." I said, "Yeah, baby, this is real."
It was real. And there was a period of clean. Don't beat yourself up about having that period of clean.
So I stayed clean for 3 months, and then I relapsed, and then I went to a recovery house for 6 months after that, and I stayed clean for 6 months, and then I relapsed, and then I went to another recovery house. After that, I stayed clean for 3 months, and now I'm back in my addiction for the last 2.5 months, and my son just can't handle it anymore.
That's just right now. Sometimes our hearts hurt so much that we need to take a break. That's all.
Yeah.
What I heard there is I keep standing up and trying. And that's a really beautiful thing that you keep doing. And I hope that you keep trying, because one of these times
it'll be the one.
It's gonna stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not giving up. You keep standing up and you keep trying, and that is absolutely powerful and beautiful.
Thank you.
And I know you've been watching our pathway and our healing and what's going on. And I know you're watching.
Yeah, it's you know, I've been doing the same thing for a long time, and you know, there's so many different ways to get sober, and a lot of people don't believe that, but it's true because I see it with my own eyes. I have seen people be major drug addicts, and now today they can have a joint and they're okay. You know, I have seen people who were major junkies shooting up on the street, and today they can have a drink once in a while and their life is okay. But I've also seen a lot of people where that's not possible. They've had 20 years sober, and then they end up on the downtown east side the first time that they use. So we're all different.
Yeah, we are.
I just don't know if I'm one of those people, if it's an all or nothing thing, you know?
Well, we need to make our lives clean and exciting enough that nothing else is required.
Exactly. And right now my priorities are to I just really want to try and make my son proud, because he didn't ask to be here. And I was thinking about it the other day, and my dad came here and we had a talk, and he said, you know, kids are getting younger and younger, and they're using younger and younger, and you know, like when I was in treatment, there were kids in the youth men's house that had, you know, they were 15 years old on the downtown east side doing needles. And you know, my stepson's 12, and my son will be 11 in December. that's not that far off, you know?
Yeah.
And the first time that I used, I was 14, 15, 16 when I started trying drugs. When did they start trying drugs? You know? So it's really scary. And my son sees today, his uncle is sober. His dad is sober, multiple years, both of them. His stepmom is sober. I'm not sure how much clean time she has, but I know it's over a year. And he looks at me and thinks, why can't my mom stay sober? Right? But we don't all have the same systems around us that can make it easier to stay sober, you know? Like, I don't have... Anyways.
I just wanted to start out there that we're getting near the end of the time limit for the show. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 5 minutes. I see.
I give you. I just wanted to give you a heads up and see if there's any final words that you wanted to say.
Yeah, that was really basically it. Just like, don't be afraid if anyone's ever watching this and you're an addict and you're actively using and you don't know anything about sobriety. Do not be afraid to reach out. My name on Facebook is Jessibelle Alicia Mather. Go ahead, Facebook me. I get Facebooks often from especially siblings, women with sisters in addiction. And I won't ignore you. I'm not sober right now, but the knowledge is still there. And I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm still trying right now. I'm just calling, recovery houses, even though that may not be the route I decide to go this time. It's something that I'm still doing because I don't want to continue to live the way I'm living. And if you don't want to continue the way that you're living and you don't know how to get out, just pick up the phone, because there's people who are around who can help you. So that's all I really have to say.
I love you,
Thank you so much for joining us.
I love you too.
And I really appreciate that you came on. It's been a real story. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And see?
Is this where I read that now?
Yeah.
Well, it's that time again. Thank you for joining us here on the Mushie Moment with my co-host Cindy, myself, and our awesome guest, Jessibelle Alicia Mather. We're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Boxcast, Roku, and Fire Stick. See you next week. More exciting guests, more healing information, more stories, and much more love.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab-tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga, Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponic shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.